fired up. Big board ready, phones all lit. Miami mind on that perfect fit. Pick by pick, we're cutting through the smoke. We're talking future with every quote. Bobby bringing that bold hot take. Josh with the stats to keep it straight. Coach breaking down every twist and turn. Chalk on the board while the cameras burn. On the clock, Vince talk. Let the war room rock. Hey, Bobby, Josh, and Coach where the fans flock. From the first big call to the final spot. On the clock, Vince talk. Dolphins draft. Vince talk. Dolphins draft. Can't stop. Oh, can't stop. Trade up, trade back. What's the move? Who's that dog that's got something to prove? Sleeper in the third, steal in the late. Every single name could change our fate. From the podium buzz to the fan base roar. We're riding every pick like it's
With the 11th pick, the Miami Dolphins select.
All right, good evening, everybody, and welcome to a special Fins Talk draft show here on FTSN. I'm Bobby Fins Talk, just returned from South Florida where I attended the Dolphins Cancer Challenge, which was an amazing event. Just excited to be back and kind of missed doing this, not going to lie, I was a little antsy in the pants, going, dang, I got to get back. I was watching, kind of following up on the combine. I mean, what a showing by players like Malachi Lawrence and, Drew, Tylon Green and Drew Alar, all those guys really stepping up. You hear the crazy rumors now about Caleb Downs and how that's going to impact him. So just a lot to talk about. And of course, Dolphins, we're, right around the corner for free agency. What's going to happen there? Quarterbacks, their names are getting thrown out there between Kyler Murray and Jimmy G and Mac Jones and all of the above. But today's show, it's just a special show, special edition show, just to talk about the draft, and we're going to run a mock draft, but I'm not going to do it alone. I got a former overtime buddy of mine when back in the day, solo partner there, and I'm going to bring him on, and that's Mr. Brett Lagasse. Brett, what's up, my man? How you doing?
What's up, man? How you doing, man?
Doing all right. I appreciate you taking the time to join me today and do this, man.
Yes, sir. I'm a little behind. I haven't got to watch much with the combine, but I got to see some impressive numbers by some players, some better than I expected, like Sonny Styles. That was actually a really good showing for him. So that was good. Jeremiah Love's feet and footwork was amazing, but
dude,
he's so smooth. He's so buttery smooth.
He is. That's why he's the number one guy. And a lot of people have him the number one guy on their board, which, that's been thrown out there. So which is crazy for a back, but we'll see how that actually plays out. Smoke and mirrors. And same thing with the kind of the Caleb Downs stuff with the degenerative ACL. How much is fact or fiction? What's smoke? What's not? What are your thoughts on that?
So there's a lot of thoughts on it, and it's going to be how he takes care of it. So the degenerative ACLs and meniscus are nothing new. Todd Gurley had that. Jay Ajayi had that. For a running back, I'm worried. For a safety, I'm not terribly worried, but I mean, it is something you do need to be careful with. It's something obviously as Dolphins with their history of injuries. That's something I'm watching for.
Yeah.
But it's also something that you want to make sure he doesn't have the meniscus removed. You have it repaired. Your downtime, your time out is longer, right? But if you have it removed, your career is shorter. Like, these guys are such in a rush to come back. Like I always said, when Todd Gurley got his meniscus removed, I said he's going to hate that because his career just got shortened. And instead of going for a longer recovery time and being out longer, but prolonging your career, they go for, I'll have it removed. And now they have arthritis in their knees early on. Yeah. And they're not even 50. They're not, Todd Gurley barely pushing 30 and he's already got arthritis in his knees. Like, that's that bone on bone. So like, as long as he takes care of it, as long as it's like constantly checked on, I'm not saying he'll have like a 15-year career, but I mean, like, he could have like a decent career, but it is something that I would worry about. I'll tell you this, if he's there around 2, I'd snatch him up. But if teams are letting him fall day 3, I mean, you're getting a steal at safety.
So let me ask you this, okay? When we're going to get to the mock, and we know the reporting is, of course, and I think most would agree though, but is that Eric Sullivan would prefer to trade down or or at least get more picks, and that's why you're seeing Minka Fitzpatrick's name out there, etc. However, this guy, some people call him generational, top 5 talent, whatever. Caleb Downs, he's sitting. Let's say he just slips to 11. He's sitting there. How much thought are you putting into it? Is it an automatic go run to the board and go get him?
It really depends on how much faith you have in the structure of his knee. But if you feel like the structure of his knee is healthy and he doesn't have a ton of like damage to his knee and he's healthy, like he's not limited in movement, and you don't feel like, you run to the podium and take him because he's a top 10 pick. Easy. I mean, I was all about him at 11, and I don't take safeties that early because safety is a position that is not really impactful necessarily. But a guy like him immediately changes your secondary. He's a leader right away. He changes everything. So, and he's that at Ohio State. So, if you feel like the structure of his knee is good, if he's there like late 20s, like I just said, like I would take him in the second round as a no-brainer. So we'll see what happens. Yes.
Appreciate it, wifey. No, so let me just so Miami Sports in the comments right now. Long time no see. So FTSN on was on a little bit of a break because El Jefe was out of town. And I get it, it's the off season, but guys are doing their own thing. I was down in South Florida for the Dolphins Cancer Challenge, the DCC. Did the 5K there. It was an amazing event with amazing people. Big E attended. It was so great to see him, get to spend the night before hanging out with him and Uncle Al's and Ashley, 305 Sports Babe, and the crew. And then we did the event. My son did the entire 5K, didn't take any shortcuts, didn't quit early. He completed it. He was tired. He got his medal. Got to meet Malik Washington and Patrick Paul and Kenneth Grant. And Patrick Paul, all of them though, but Patrick Paul, my God, it was like looking at Andre the Giant. This guy was huge, but a gentle giant. Very,
6'8".
Oh, dude, he's massive. Like, we saw Ollie Gordon and really talked to him, kind of noticed him. You know what I mean? And he was talking with Patrick Paul, but I'm more like I don't want to bother anybody. I'm with my son, kind of showing him around. And my son just right away, like, went right up to Patrick Paul's back to make sure it confirmed it was him on the tag. And he goes, Patrick Paul? And Patrick turned around and, hey, buddy. And he's like, you're the first player I've ever met in my life. It was so awesome. Yeah, and he was great. So my son now, Patrick Paul, Malik Washington, Kenneth Grant, my son's number one. That's his there. My son is now their number one fan. Yeah, he's like, I'm rooting for them next year. I absolutely get it. Hot Dog 165. Trade down, plenty of safeties.
Yeah.
Possibly,
the idea is to trade down, but you have to have a partner to trade down with. If they don't want to,
right.
That's going to be the thing. Is there talent up there enough to trade down? Is there somebody going to be there at 11? The likelihood is pretty heavy in offensive tackle, so there could be an offensive tackle.
That's something.
That.
That's something that Miami is going to have to watch. I love that you brought that up because we don't know what's going to happen to Austin Jackson. He could be gone unless they restructure. Who knows? But if if he is, and Miami needs a tackle, how much do you trade down and risk not getting one of the top guys? Because offensive line, especially offensive tackle, there is a drop-off after maybe Monroe Freeling out of Georgia, who, that can play left or right side. You got Francis Mauigoa from Miami. How much do you risk saying, okay, let's trade down or let's skip offensive line in the first round and let's hope someone's sitting there with the second round pick and go to get. So that is something Miami has to look at. Safety. Look, there are some guys, you got McNeil Warren, 6'4", the dude's huge. You got Dylan Theinman from Oregon. Those are guys that I was like, I'm mentioning those guys are my round 2 guys. I could pass Caleb if those guys are sitting there. Dylan Theinman is moving up. The kid from Oregon's a stud. So it's going to be tough if,
probably, I wouldn't even say he's moving up. He's probably already up there. So like when media, I'll put it this way, when the media is hyping up a guy or is climbing draft boards for media, they're a day late and dollar short. Like that doesn't happen that often. These scouts already know who they're looking at, what they're looking at. Even with Fernando Mendoza, like they already knew what he was
Yeah.
before, but there was nothing to show who he could be. Same thing with Joe Burrow as an example, and I'm just using this example where guys like are late bloomers, where the scouts to see these guys like, well, they know what kind of head he has, they know what kind of talent he has, and then they see him like what you have to see what he could do. Now sometimes it's like, well, that guy surprises. I wouldn't think he'd be that, but that's what he was. So yeah, so a lot of that stuff, like when you start seeing this, this is the time of year. Notice the time it comes out. All of a sudden, we get the combine where everybody's there, right? After the Senior Bowl, majority of people are there. Not everybody has a coach and GM and all, but by the time you get to the combine, everybody's there and the media's there. And now all of a sudden, now the media is like, okay, this is who teams love. This is who teams love. And I still remember this. Was it Greg that said it? But 2020 was going to show the disconnect between the general managers, the NFL teams and the media of where teams, and that's, it really did. And that's not against the media, because that, what everybody needs to keep in mind is media is general. They're doing it for all 32 teams. They're not looking specific scheme and all that stuff. So NFL is like, it's going to be a little bit different. So players are going to be higher than other teams too, but the media is doing generalized. So I just want to kind of just put that out there as a preface to everything we're going to talk about today.
100%. And first off, El Reezy, great to see you. Hot Dog 165, thank you for tuning in and your comments. Keep going in there. Miami Sports says, don't trade down if CC is still there. Russ Morgan, who will be live in about an hour's time with the World Baseball Classic Special Edition on Deck Show with Alex and Sammy. Really excited to see that. Puerto Rico played the Twins, I believe. Was it the Twins earlier or Texas? One of those. But we were watching that one earlier. So the Jets are a team to watch because they got 2 first-round picks. You were talking about who's going to be available at 11, who's going to fall to 11. Where is Miami comfortable enough to? Well, is there a player sitting there that a team's willing to trade up and give Miami a couple of picks? Is there a player, or is there a group of players sitting there at 11 where Miami's comfortable to trade down? Where they're like, hey, one of these guys are going to be where we may end up. That will fall. Like, what happens with the quarterback position? Does Ty Simpson move up into the top 10? The Jets, do they end up getting him? Teams are going to try to move up. They're going to try to jump. We got to keep an eye on that. A guy who did himself some favors during the combine that I saw, and a guy that is kind of like, he's a late round quarterback, but maybe helped himself up to a mid round, was Talon Green out of Arkansas. I mean, was it 6'6", 2 something? I don't have the numbers.
Ran I forgot what he ran. Was it 4? Was he 4.3?
Yeah, 40? Something like that, dude. I mean, he's an athletic freak. He's an athletic freak. He's not the perfect guy. Absolutely not. He's raw, but he has an arm. He's deep ball, monster arm. Has physical specimen. I mean, this is a guy, like, if you get him in the mid rounds, that's a development. That's great. That's a good value pick.
Well, I saw somebody compare him to Anthony Richardson. I'm like, no. Okay, we're not. He's not that raw.
No,
he's nowhere near that raw. He's a gamer. He's definitely a gamer. He's ballsy. Everything I've seen of him, he will throw. He will do exactly what your coaches tell you not to do, but he's not afraid of it when you need to play. See, I can see the Terrell Pryor comp, and that's like, people will see like Terrell Pryor now. Like, they'll see what they saw of Terrell Pryor in the NFL, not paying attention to what he was in college. But like, I think Taylor Green, if you said at 11 or first round, absolutely not.
No,
they do. No. Yeah. And you're in a win-win. If he turns out to be good, cool. If not, whatever. I think he's raw and athletic enough to move out to wide receiver if he doesn't work out at quarterback or whatever. And for those who get mad about that, I'm not saying that he can't be a quarterback in the NFL, but if he's like struggling at quarterback, a lot of guys who struggle at quarterback end up leaving the league because they don't want to move positions. Whereas, like, he's a guy who's like, instead of only getting 3 or 4 years in the league at quarterback, didn't work out. Hell, I'm 6'6". I forgot how much he weighed. I'm long. I got good speed. I understand what wide receivers are supposed to do. I'm a freak of nature athlete. Well, hell, I could just slide outside and be a wide receiver. So
So
you can prolong your career and give yourself options. Is basically what I'm saying.
yeah, no, here I was able to find my info on him, and again, 6'6", around 230, 224. I mean, super fast, built like an edge rusher, moves like a
Yeah.
athletic freak, elite. One of the he throws a beautiful deep ball. Like you said, he's not as raw as Anthony Richardson. He's not complete either. Now, great point from El Reezy, and I don't know if I froze up, but that's okay because I'm just reading one of the report. El Reezy saying, Josh Allen wasn't polished. Now, Josh Allen was different. I agree with that. This draft is perfect to get a guy later because he's not going to be. You're not going to go early. You're not going to spend an early pick. But this is good for projects, right? Okay, I'm going to go get a Talon Green, maybe in the 3rd, the 4th, 5th round if he's there. And then, have him compete with the starting job. Have him. If he doesn't, great. You stash him. You let him develop. Then you let him compete next year. Like you said, El Reezy, he might be that next guy. You're like, whoa, wait a second. That could be said for Drew Allar as well, who at one point was a top 10 guy until last year, and everything kind of fell apart. He might be a guy who he did himself he did good at in the combine. He comes out in the draft, have him compete, stash him if he doesn't work out for this season, and maybe he blows up. He has all the tools. Yeah. Cole Payton, another one. Sawyer Robinson out of Baylor. That's another name. Those are late round guys that you could stash and produce.
I like Drew Allar a lot. That you mentioned him. I still think he's a first round pick. It's funny because he kind of reminds me of Herbert in Oregon, where he was like handicapped with the offense, with the dinosaur style offense. So it's kind of funny with Lamar with the same thing. Like it's just a hideous offense. He still made things happen. He's a very intelligent guy. Had a lot of layer throws, a lot of layer reads that he understood how to attack the defense. He's got that talent and size, but you're right. Even with the large injury, with the ankle injury, he still looked good at the combine from what I got to see. But with the Lar, like he's another talented. Like, there's a lot of talent for guys, and this is a draft where even if like we didn't have a new regime, I would be screaming for us to take a guy day 2 to at least battle it out. Because if you take a guy at day 2 and he doesn't work out, nobody cares. Like it doesn't really matter. Like, yeah, I might have missed the talent, but I would much rather reach or in the 2nd or 3rd round, get a quarterback and at least try than get a Liam Eichenberg again.
Yeah. And let me just say for Hot Dog, I get it. Yes. Right now, there's no guy worth taking in the 1st round if you're not getting Mendoza, and Ty Simpson is a conversation for those, who might be a late 1st round. If Miami trades down, does that become a conversation? Maybe for Miami. I don't know if I'm there yet, even though I think he's a safe pick for QB. Yeah. I don't think he's going to hit some certain ceiling. I know he's going to be some crazy elite guy, but I think he'll be good. But look, just because Miami drafts a guy in the 3rd round, 4th round, whatever, does that mean that that eliminates them from getting a quarterback next year? Absolutely not. No. You get a guy, you have him compete. If Quinn's the starter. Let's say he bombs out, he doesn't work out. This guy doesn't work out, or this guy's good enough but not great. Yeah. You could go get that one of those top guys next year. You do that. Draft the quarterback every year until you hit your guy, and then the other guys that you hit on, trade it for draft capital.
Right, and now Sully and he mentioned Ron Wolf multiple times, and you go back. They had a whole thing about the Favre 6 or whatever it was. I think Mark Brunell, Aaron Brooks, Matt Hasselbeck all went on to become starters because they kept drafting quarterback, and until they have one. Well, they already have Brett Favre, but they kept drafting backups and developmental guys, and then they would trade them. And then have another one they develop. And they always had quality backups. How many times we watched the backups just struggle in Miami? But you watch Green Bay and they get guys who
get hurt. All of a sudden, like, who is this guy? Matt Flynn. Right. Exactly. Look at Malik Willis like right now.
Yeah.
People are going to give this guy $40 million a year for 3 games. It's like,
right. Come on.
That's the thing.
Right. It's like
three 3rd round picks. They got 3 3rd round picks. Steve.
Yeah.
Thank you, El Reezy.
But you know what, Steve and El Reezy, thank you for clarifying all that, because it kind of goes to what Bobby's saying. Like, take a guy in the 2nd or 3rd round. Like, why not? What do you have to lose? And let me tell you, if a guy like Tyler Green and people are like he's too raw, whatever, and he falls to like the third round, you absolutely use one of those third round picks on him. And if not, if he goes to day 3, you definitely, but you take a shot at a quarterback just to see what you can find. If there's one that you really like and he doesn't work out and you spend a day 2 pick, who cares? Even if we get one in the first round, I don't think that's going to stop them next year in the first round. But I don't think they're going to do that.
No, and I don't think they are, but I'm with you. Even if, let's say, for some reason, let's say Miami trades down into the 20s, right? And they get a bunch of draft picks, but Ty Simpson sitting there, and let's say just for such a giggle, let's say Miami does grab the Ty Simpson, which again, you're in the 20s, whatever. Does that stop them from getting a guy next year? No, it doesn't. Better case scenario, or what makes more sense? Day 2, one of your third round picks, Drew Allar, Talon Green, Sawyer Robinson, Cole, whatever, Cole Payton. Get one of the, that would probably.
If Drew Allar falls out of the first round, then they better go grab him.
Hey, Craig says I want Malachi Fields from Notre Dame. Here's the thing about wide receiver. This is such a strong class. The more and more I think about it, I'm going to say 2 things. It sounds like I'm saying, but the more I thought about it, and I talked to Lou from the SoFlo Sports Show. We were a team of the worldwide Dolphins fans for the DCC. Appreciate Lou. It was cool hanging out with Lou at the DCC, and Uncle Al's. It was really cool to see him. But we were discussing this, and talking about what picks. Who do we get? Blah blah blah. And the more and more I think about this, like we all talk corner, absolutely right. Mansour Delane, McCoy. Now look, those guys at 11, absolutely, like those guys are good. And even though McCoy has some injuries, what about to worry about? If Miami brings back Juju Brents, which they talk about, they talk highly of, Rasul Douglas, Kader Kahoot, does that mean, then they're not going to bring him? They're not going to get a corner? Absolutely not. But there are guys who you could get later in the draft, not later in the draft, but later in round 1 if you trade down, or second round, third round, one of those top 3 picks, Takeo Davis, the 6'4" corner, who had a strong combine, who I really like. He's going to be there. Chris Johnson had a very good combine. There are some corners later on that you could get that have quality, but receiver, I mean, you could get a top dog receiver, obviously in round 1, if you're at 11 and one of those Jordan Tyson or I'm forgetting the one from your school, Brett. Oh my God, what's his name? Carnell Tate. Carnell Tate right now. If like I'm just saying, at 11, right? Bam, you're good. Boston, and then round 2, Brazil. There's other guys there. You could get a good receiver. Like, to me, I keep thinking, man, I don't know why a receiver at 11 it keeps getting in my head. But you could skip a receiver at 11 and get a really good guy in round 2, or one of those 3 picks, or maybe even the 4th or 5th round. It's like receiver strong. Edge rusher, more than likely, you need to get one earlier on. You think of if you don't get, obviously, the Reuben Baines or the whatever, or the David Baileys, you think of Malachi Lawrence out of Central Florida, who had a strong combine, 7 sacks last year, 6'4", 253. You think of Zion Young, 6'6". That dude's he's a productive guy. That's probably round 2. Those are probably round 2. They might sneak in the edge of round 1, but those are guys you might want to look at. You don't want to OT. I love that Dad Dean said this. OT and edge might be the positions. If Miami says BPA, they go BPA. But if you were like, no, we need to get these, you need to then you'll probably have to do it earlier rather than later, because there's a little bit of a drop off if you don't.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the biggest thing is premium positions, and if you look at Green Bay's history of what they do, and if Sully is being honest about that's what he wants to do, then they're going to probably go more than likely edge rusher. They only went offensive tackle like 3 times since in his tenure there with his time there. So I only went to his time there, but if you go through Ron Wolf, offensive tackle really wasn't, they went on, offensive line really wasn't all that consistent. Their biggest consistent positions they drafted in the first round, I'll say secondary, because a lot of safeties and corners and pass rush. Those were the 2 positions that they emphasize the most in the draft: pass rush, secondary. And I'm okay with it because both of those are premium positions, and you can never have enough pass rushers. You can never have enough
No.
corners
No.
or safeties. Even though I'd rather have impact players at safety if you're going to take them in the first round. Offensively, wide receiver is your premium position. Running back can be if you get like a Jeremiah Love kind of thing. You know, that and I still think I know everybody loves Achane, but we need another back with Achane.
So
Achane should not be the lead back.
So I'll just say this. Even with Devon Achane, who I do love Devon Achane. You know me, I'll go head to head on it. But and I love Ollie Gordon. Ollie freaking Gordon. You know, I all day. And but he didn't show too much last year. That's okay. Second year, whatever. But remember, this is not the teams that drafted these guys.
Right.
I do think they believe in Devon Achane. I think they're happy they have Devon Achane. But I wouldn't be surprised if they spent one of those top 3 picks in the 3rd round or in one of those later rounds. They get another running back. You brought up Jeremiah Love. You know, if he's sitting at 11 BPA, do they actually do it? Wouldn't that be crazy? Do I put it past them? No. Do I sleep on it? No. But you got Katron Allen out of Penn State, who, you know, he's a little bit of a thumper, good receiver back, but also something that might help Devon Achane. Even though Nicholas Singleton is there, and don't get me wrong, I wouldn't sleep on Singleton, who was one guy at one point, a top 10 back. Allen out of Penn State, he's a very good pass blocker. He's a good lead run blocker. He could give you that. If he's there in the later rounds and you can pick him up and pair him with Devon Achane, and that's a 2-back side by side, and then you let's say you give it to Achane and this guy blocks for you, or you switch it up, love it. Love it.
Yeah, and it gives you the ability to be multiple, pretty much, and that's something they talked about a lot in their interviews about being multiple. Both the coach and GM. That's they both share that, be able to be multiple and not just do the same thing. That not just big wide receivers, you have to have speed. Not just fast wide receivers, you have to have size. Like so, you got to be able to play it all weather, and that's so that those guys you're mentioning fit what they're talking about.
So first off, shout out to the man 9780 here. I would spend a 3rd round pick for Alar. He says no running backs. We need corners. Again, I would say look at the running back situation minus the Devon Achane. Not much production from the other 2 guys. Love the other 2 guys, but again, these aren't guys that were drafted by this current regime. Rasul Douglas does have a history and a relationship with Coach Halfley. Kader Kohou's coming off an injury. Juju Brents, they spoke highly of him. Just because that doesn't mean they're not going to draft a corner. I think they will. But I think I think safety is a bigger need. But I do think corner will come into play, especially, hopefully they come away with Davis or Johnson or whatever. Hot Dog says take both Taylon Green and Mike Washington, the running back out of Arkansas. Washington is intriguing.
I like Washington.
I like
that before. I had said that.
Mike Washington, out of Arkansas. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Chris Brooks, who was a Dolphins undrafted free agent, re-signed with Green Bay. Absolutely demand. Great point there. Green Bay likes guys like Ollie Gordon. Good point. And hey, again, it's similar system. They switch. It's a little bit upgraded with Bobby Slowick, but maybe just Ollie Gordon now with the new coach. Maybe he's rejuvenated. Maybe he's, maybe he likes to get that second win, and maybe that is the case. You might be right. We'll see. So we're going to do this mock. We're going to have fun with it. We're going to take our time with it. It's going to be a full 7-round mock. We will entertain trade offers. We're going to try to be realistic about it. We're not going to be, let's add this and this, and let's do this, and let's get 20 draft picks in one round, in one draft. And, we're not, and we'll put a cutoff at one point for a trade. But we'll go there and we'll talk about players that are available and guys, we kind of fit the system. Brett and I will do this together. It's not going to be, Brett gets one, I get one. No, we're going to do this together. And we'll watch your comments and see what you guys say. So bear with me here as I get this all started up. Throw me on there. Let's throw Brett. Now we're going to use the Pro Football Network draft simulator. I
like it.
I like it a lot. They've actually updated this. They put on a cool thing with trades where it kind of shows you I like to go and reference the trade value chart that made famous by Jimmy Johnson. they actually added this here where like when you get offered a trade, Brett, it'll tell you like, hey, this is the value of it. This is what you're getting back. They're winning or you're winning, and you can kind of measure that to see what trade is fair to you. So
That's how I used to do that when I would make up my own trades with mocks and all. I would use that chart.
yeah. So
Works pretty good.
let's go ahead and we'll make the 7 rounds, and I'm going to leave this normal speed so we can kind of see this playing out. We'll see it kind of playing out, and we'll roll that big bottle of champagne. He's guzzling down there. I mean, my goodness, dude. No, I'm just playing. And one thing that's
we're back.
Stop. And I will say too, what's really cool that's coming up, that FTSN is partnering up with Draft Professor with this elite mock. We're going to be representing the Miami Dolphins, and different podcasts around the nation. They're going to have different teams, and we'll, and the first round will be a couple hours long, one day, Thursday night in April. The next day is 2 and 3, a couple hours long. And then Saturday's 4 through 7. So that's going to be a very cool thing. So stay tuned for that and watching that. And we'll have different people joining us. But obviously Josh Wingate, Coach Vogel, and others. Maybe Brett, he's available, busy dude.
Yep.
But that should be a lot of fun. So let's see here. Anthony, I saw you write that 3 or 4 times. Don't worry. I've gone through it a couple times today. I'm going to roll with the PFSN one because it's been updated. So I have been using consensus, but I did it a few times today, and it's been updated. So I'm going to go ahead and use the PFSN one, and we'll roll that because it's been updated since the combine. Of course, I have my own that I have here. I've been watching film. So, I'll use that if I have to reference that back. But the board is the board. It doesn't matter what's accurate or not accurate, because we could say, oh, this guy's a top 10 guy, and he goes in the 3rd round. Happens all the time.
Yes.
The only accurate thing is what players get picked. So we can't control who gets picked. We'll go there. Miami Sports, please pick good. We'll try. Really, it depends on eye of the beholder, right?
I can't do any worse than Chris Greer.
There you go, brother. Brett, just in case, I'll ask you to check comments for me, because I'm going to
I got you.
So I make sure. So I'll let you know, like, hey, let me know what the comments think. You let me know. But let's go, guys. So we're going to go ahead and pick the Dolphins here. We're going to go normal. And yes, we will use the PFSN one. I use consensus because it uses everybody else, but I don't know if everybody else has been updated. I do know that PFSN has updated it with after the combine. So we'll let that run. All right. So let's go ahead and let this run. And it should automatically start going. Obviously, Mendoza goes 1, makes sense. Carnell Tate goes 2. That would be nuts. Arvell Reese goes 4 number 3, and Bain to the Titans.
Carnell Tate on that early, man.
hey, you never know. But okay, so here we go. Caleb Downs goes to the Saints. That's the guy that everybody's going to be watching on draft day. Just like Laramie Tunzel with the big bong. Now Caleb Downs with the degenerative, injury.
Slightly different things.
Slightly, but still, you're trying to drag down the value. It doesn't in this mock. He goes to the Saints. Jeremiah Love goes to Kansas City. So they get themselves a running back for Pat Mahomes. Here you go. Francis Mauigoa taken before Miami's pick to go to Cleveland. I think
I'm fine with that.
Another guy got taken too. If I could look this up, let's see if I could scroll this up.
We can scroll up.
Okay. So if Mendoza goes 1, not a surprise.
Right.
I'd be surprised if it didn't happen. Carnell take 2. That's interesting. That would be
Jets going another Ohio State wide receiver that early.
Yeah, I think they're going to go defense here. But again, this is just a random thing. We're rolling with it.
I
think they go defense. Alvell Reese or Ruben Bain. Tyson going to the Giants. Sonny Styles did himself a big favor in the combine. I mean, my goodness. He goes to the Browns. And David Bailey goes to Washington. And, of course, Love and Noah off the board. So, Miami, what's left for the Dolphins here? Caleb Lemieux out of Utah. Monroe Freeling. Talking about offensive linemen. Those 2 guys are still on the board. Miami's going to need a tight end. Kenyon Sadiq still on the board. There's your two top corners, Mansour Delane, Jamon McCoy. You get them, you could go home happy. Wide receiver, Mekhi Lemon. This is a guy that many are starting to compare to Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's moved himself into that top 10 conversation, top 3 wide receiver. He's still there. Of course, Peter Woods and an edge rusher, Kendrell Falk, as well on that board. Dylan Thieneman number is on there as well. The safeties at the very end as well. So those guys are there. If you're looking at this, let's say we're not entertaining a trade offer here. We're going to look at the trade offers, but let's say we're not entertaining one. What players catch your eye?
Delane and McCoy. I mean, I like Sadiq.
Yep.
I just don't like him at 11. I do like him as a playmaker though, but not at 11. Man, Delane and McCoy are like my 2 top ones for 11 that I've been eyeing the entire time. It's like, for me, it's hard to look off of them. I like Lemon as well, but I would really be leaning, although I started out higher on Jamon McCoy, I'd be leaning Delane there.
The reason I'd lean Delane is the injury concern there.
Yeah.
Even though I think McCoy, if you come away with McCoy and he made, decently healthy, you've hit. The both of these guys are going to be very good players in the NFL. I'll tell you what, though, I know it's not sexy, and I understand the history, and I appreciate you bringing up the history, and I agree with you. Caleb Lemieux, I think Spencer Fano is still there later on, and he's probably rated a little further down, even though he's higher on my draft board. Monroe Freeling has done himself some big favors. He's starting to get popular. He's a new favorite for everybody, but he's a really good offensive lineman. He can play the left side. He can play the right side. I'll say out of Georgia. Great size. I think 6'7", whatever. 6'7". But you watch him. I mean, he's easy to watch, dude. He's easy on the eyes. The way he moves his feet, strong anchor.
He's smooth.
He's smooth. That's what I'm saying. Easy on the eyes, dude. Love watching him. So for me, I'm with you. The 2 corners, but I also say those 2 offensive linemen are the ones that are drawing me in. I'm okay passing on Sadiq here. I'm okay passing on Peter Woods. Mekhi Lemon, I think you could wait on wide receiver. If Jordan Tyson or Carnell Tate were there, I'd consider it, but neither one.
This is going to sound sacrilege, but I would even take Carnell Tate at 11. I don't know.
Oh, talk to me about it.
I like Carnell Tate. I'm just not 100% sold that he's a definition number 1 take over a game guy. You know what I mean? I like him, though. I do. I think he's a talented wide receiver, but I don't know that he's a guy that's going to be like your true dominant number 1. And for, as high as he went in his draft, that's what I hope the guy he is. You know what I mean? But like, I wouldn't be so quick to just snatch him up if he was at 11.
Okay.
So I don't get me wrong. Have a little question.
I think I love his size. I love watching him. He's fun to watch, and I think he's going to be a very good wide receiver.
Yeah.
But, my eyes we're always drawing to Jeremiah. So, who's going to be next year? I'm not saying, but yeah, I get it. But I like Tate.
He's a good receiver. No, I wouldn't be like, oh God, we took Carnell Tate. I wouldn't be mad at it. I wouldn't be mad at it at all. I just don't know 100% that's my guy. I also have a little concerns because he's somewhat disappeared in some of the bigger games.
So here it is. So there's only one trade offer, which is great. It leaves us with one option. So we're either going with an offensive lineman or the corners, or we're going to go ahead and do this drop off. Now, here's the problem here. Well, here's the good thing. I'll say the good thing. 75, right? You could trade. You're basically trading 75, and you're moving up to 38. Let's just say from 75 to 38. That's great. Now you're going to have 3 top 100 picks, top 50 picks. But you're also moving down from 11 to 28. So you're hoping that when a quality guy is going to be there, and you have to trust your board and trust your scouts on who you're going to get. So here's the new feature, though, too, with PFN. If you see it here, value offered from the Texans is 457. The offer, what they want to get is the value is 421. So you're getting more back, obviously, in value from the Houston Texans.
So they have it graded as what they valued weighs more than what we. Okay.
Yeah. So
I was going to say that didn't make sense while I was reading the opposite.
Yeah. So I'm going to ask you this. Okay. You're looking at this offer. Now, again, I love to experiment. I love the additional pick, and I love moving up from 75, moving down, or moving up from 75 to 38. Don't like as far as the drop off, but I'm interested. I could see who would be there at 28 and hopefully go from there. But I'm going to ask you, based on the talent that's on the board right now and the trade offers that's there, what's more attractive to you?
More honestly, trade down is more attractive because now I get to move up in the second and third round. Well, I get to move up in the third round. I get 2 more picks in the third.
Yeah.
And so now I have 2 more picks in the third, and I still have a first. I'll probably take that.
Well, you're going to get an additional second round pick, right? And you'll move up in the third because it's 28, 38, and 59.
Yeah, so 38's not a second round pick, right? It's a third round pick. And 59 is a third round.
Is it 38? No, 38 is a second round pick.
Is it? They have a second round. They have that many compensatory picks?
It's not 38 picks in the second round. It's pick 38 overall.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. It's all right. It's all that drinking and smoking you're doing.
Never mind. Pick number 38. Yeah, my bad. Yeah, so yeah, you're moving up. Like, I would take it.
I would do it too. I would take the trade. Can you let me know what the comments are saying? Let's see what the comments are saying.
Comments are saying no. Drew Alar, which I mean, Damon, I get it. I get it. Someone said counter, try not to lose 75. A lot of people don't want to lose 75. See if you can get more. Honestly, you're not going to get more. I'd take it. A second round pick, a third round pick.
Okay, so let's do this. Yeah, I don't think.
And this team needs talent and money.
Yeah, I understand the big move up from 20 to 11. You might think, why would we give up 75? Maybe throw, I think 111. I think we have 111. You may want to try that. We could do that one time, but I again, if that doesn't work, I'm willing to take this offer because you're moving up from 75 to 38 and you're getting 59. So you're not losing anything really. But let's mess around with it. So here's what's cool. You take that off. He says likely to reject. Throws on it says close. So you see,
I would give him, honestly, I'd give him yeah.
You see? So that's what's really cool about this. I'm going to say I'm absolutely okay making this trade. I mean, don't get me wrong. Mansour Delane is sitting there. I get it.
That's tough. It's tough to pass him up, but I mean, I'm a team that needs a lot of talent.
There's a lot of needs, and you're gaining an extra pick, and you're moving up. So not one guy is going to turn around your team, you know, and I don't know. I guess if it's a guy you think is generational or elite, then you just do it. I don't know if we're there yet with any of these guys or we feel that way about any of these guys at this time. So let's go ahead and do this for S and giggles. Let's make the trade. Caleb Lemieux is the one who gets picked by the Texans. So tackle comes off the board. And then we're moving on down here.
Oh, the Jets get Ty Simpson. Oh,
there you go. Hey, I told you that's a popular thing there. Yeah. You know,
it's Ty Simpson's mechanics that a lot of people like, his athleticism. Move down a pick and get another pick.
Yeah, so we're holding for a second, and let's go. So we've moved down, and let's go ahead. We're looking there. You got Proctor there. If you're still looking at an offensive line, Proctor sitting there out of Alabama, 6'7", 352. I think
we're gonna get offensive linemen. I mean, at least down here is not as bad.
Not as bad at all. No.
Yeah.
Corner though, you got Avian Tyrell, excuse me, out of Clemson. Colton Hood. We talk about McCoy. Mm-hmm. Colton Hood is a really good corner. This is a guy that, like, you come away with Hood, I'm okay with it. You know, there's a guy you could plug into your defense right now, and he's a day one contributor. This is a guy I'm absolutely considering if you're here, and that's and you got to go that route. But let's go ahead and take a look. So, here you go. He did great at the Senior Bowl. Everybody has eyes for him right now. Eyelinker from Arizona State, offensive lineman. He's still there. Awesome. If you're looking at wide receiver, Denzel Boston, Chris Brazil still there. Defense, of course, Tyrell, Hood, McNeil Warren. Again, 6'4", 201. Great size, speed, physical. He's flying up boards right now. Good closing burst. Love this kid. We need a safety. If you trade Minka, you're going to need a guy. Even if you keep Minka, You need a guy.
You still need a guy, yeah.
So, and he's a good one. He's a good one. He might end up going at the end of round 1. This might be where you would get him or where he would go at this point. So for me, Colton Hood, Max Allanker, or
Hood
McNeil Warren.
Man, I say McNeil Warren and Colton Hood are really standing out because I do like McNeil Warren. I like his size.
Yes.
Like I was actually surprised that he was only 201 because he looked a little bigger than that. Like if you told me he was 210,
and he plays bigger. He's physical.
Yeah.
Dude. The dude plays bigger. What does the comments say about what our options
Colton Hood I love.
Yeah.
Comments are saying look at edge. Damien also says he likes Chris Bell too, but later in the draft.
Yep, me too. Yep.
Anthony thinks run to the podium and Manny McNeil Warren. I get what he's saying.
Okay.
A lot of people do like him too. And the reason I actually really like McNeil Warren over Colton Hood, the only reason I like him over Colton Hood is I feel like Colton Hood could be there in our next pick at 38, possibly.
Possibly. But there are some players at corner who you could get later on. Again,
yeah.
You got Chris Johnson, you got Davis, you got other guys there. Even though, again, do not sleep on Hood. Good size too, 6 foot.
Yeah.
But again, in regards to edge rusher, I'm with you guys. I'm looking at edge rusher. We need edge rushers, but I feel either Malachi or Zion Young could be there in our second pick. So I'm willing to pass on that right now and see what happens at 38. I'm good with the safety, man. Let's go McNeil Warren.
I'm going to go that way. I'm going to go that route and it's not so much a need. I think he's impactful enough to, especially at 28. I'm good at taking a safety at 28.
Here you go. So Colton Hook comes off right after the next pick.
Yep.
So, and let's see here. Okay. Bam. All right. So let's not worry about that right now. Let's go back. All right, here we go. Things are kind of playing out. We didn't make our first pick. Let's see. So we got 38, 43, 59. So those are our next three picks here. I'm going to tell you based off how I see this. I want to make sure. Our next pick is 43. Be honest here.
Wait.
We got the 43rd pick. We're at 38 right now. I'd go tackle with this pick. This is where I stand. But I'm just thinking out loud because I know Zion Young's still there. I know Malachi Lawrence is still there out of Central Florida. We need edge rusher. We have a plethora of corners sitting there. Chris Johnson, you can't go wrong. I don't know what happened. Offensive line is it a take a dip after this point?
Yeah.
You might come away with some, but I'm just saying. Allanker here. You could plug in and replace Austin Jackson. I'm okay with this. Your thoughts?
See, in that sense, I'm okay with that. Like I can live with offensive tackle there, especially with the pick we just got.
After the trade we made, it gives us a little bit of a luxury to say, okay, let's go get this guy. We got our starting right tackle, and then we could go get our edge rusher and corner with the next 2 picks.
Yeah,
that's where I stand on this.
Yeah, so would he be? Honestly, yeah, because you have. What's that? Sorry, it's a little small for me. I don't know. Sorry, you guys get too close of a look. See, I like Drew Shelton, but I don't know.
And again, that's cool. I'm gonna say we could wait till Drew Shelton or whatever, but Malik.
No, I like. Man, yeah.
What are the comments saying?
Same thing. Look at edge. Hold on.
Oh, okay. If it hasn't changed, it's okay.
Max, sorry, guys. I'm not saying Max and J Rod. Chris Bell.
So first off, Chris Bell.
Chris Bell.
I'm going to watch more of him, but I'm going to tell you the first time I've seen him when we started the draft show, I'm really high on. I really like him. I know he has an injury, but I don't have my stuff on him right now because I got the screen pulled up. But look at that size, and he plays big, and he's super fast. Remember, receivers absolutely in need. You just got rid of Tyreek. Nick Westbrook did not work out. Jalen Waddle, even if he stays, we don't know what we're getting anymore out of him. He's a great dude, but we don't know what he is on the field anymore. We're kind of hoping it's the Jalen Waddle of year 1 and 2. You need wide receivers. And unless you go and get a couple in free agency, it's going to be a need in the draft. So Chris Bell, I'm not arguing with you. If he's healthy, he's sitting there all day. But
if we're being honest, those guys, the Green Bay, I mean, that regime does go after those guys in the second round a lot. So
they do.
I could see that. I definitely
could see it too. And again, it not just a need, but BPA. This guy's a stud. But wide receiver is so freaking deep that I think you could still get Malachi Fields later, Brazil. I'm probably butchering the name, but oh my goodness, Denzel Boston could possibly still be there. Those are guys that you would want to look at. So right now, at least for now with this pick, I'd go offensive line. So that way we know that's been addressed, and got to go from there. Now, again, Miami could address offensive line free agency with the very little money that they have. I doubt it though.
Yeah.
So
no, I do like the idea of Chris Bell though. I absolutely love it. But I'd go Max for now.
I'm a Chris Bell guy. I like him a lot, dude. Like if you guys have not watched, highlights is different. Highlights are fun, but that's not, if you're going to watch film, don't watch highlights because it's only going to see the good. Watch the film.
Dang it. Oh. That's why I always miss. No,
that's right. I wondered why I don't make that. So let's go offensive line here. So we got our safety, we got our head, we got our right tackle. That's done. We're back on the board. Let's go ahead and move these guys out of the way for a second. That's an interesting one. So here's what we missed. We got our offensive linemen. We missed out on our 2 edge rushers that we were hoping would be in our next couple picks. Malachi Lawrence and Zion Young have both come off the board. Chris Johnson and D'Angelo Pons are both off the board. Okay? So that's the risk you run when you go the other way. I'm okay with that. I hate it. I do like both these guys. I'd be happy with Zion Young and Malachi Lawrence, but it is what it is. It's the way the board has fallen. Now, look who's still there.
Chris Bell. I'll go wide receiver.
Chris Bell, Denzel Boston. Denzel Boston, 6'4", 212. We just talked about Chris Bell, 6'4". Denzel Boston is the 6'4" as well. Friend of the show, Justin Mello. He also big fan of Denzel Boston. He thinks this guy is, he thinks this guy's a first rounder. So where do you guys think we should go here if it's wide receiver? Let's listen. Let me look at wide receiver.
Chris Bell, J. Rod.
Chris Broussard still there. Bernard is good. Senior Bowl. Scouting combine.
Let's see. What was the other one they said? Rodriguez. Yeah. So a lot of people are like, it's pretty much between Rodriguez, Bell, and Brazil. However you say it.
If it's me, and Brazil is, I think, could be a very good guy, a very good player, really great player. I think he could be, and I'd be ecstatic if we were to get him. Denzel Boston, same thing. But again, I really like Chris Bell, and Miami needs a wide receiver. You have a luxury of an extra pick. I think we're good going wide receiver here. I'm down to go Chris Bell, and it is you think of that. When people keep bringing up Green Bay philosophy, no, do I think Solly's going to be Green Bay by the T? Absolutely not. But I think he might stick to what kind of works. And you think of Christian Watson and you think those type of guys, that size, whatever, Bell plus that speed, and he has some speed on him. This is a good pick, man. I mean, but between him and Denzel Boston, let me look.
Well, you could look at the whole history of why he was there. Javon Walker, Greg Jennings. Well, of course, he was the shortest of them all. Watson, Dubes are both 6'2" at least. Jordy Nelson. I already said Jordy. But yeah, the hoodie guy. Oh, James Jones. They're all at least 6'1", 6 foot. So they're all bigger wide receivers, good route runners, good speed. Multiple. So I don't know that you go really wrong in that sense, because I do think Bell fits all of that. Bell, to me, screams their type of wide receiver.
Let's do it. Let's go Chris Bell here. Chris Bell, Miami gets their receiver. They're going to need more. Maybe free agency is that way to go because you're very thin at that point. But now at least you've addressed safety, you've addressed offensive line, you've got a receiver. You're still looking at corner. Look at that in a second. Probably guard. Still got to think about edge rusher, unless But of course, you could go with the scenario that Miami found an edge rusher in free agency. But there go. Look, Mike Washington went to the Bears. Jacoby Lane, another bigger receiver, went to the Jags. Ramsey just left on the board. Good thing we got a safety. Mm-hmm. Emmett Johnson. I'm just talking, not suggesting at this pick. Yeah. But Emmett Johnson's a name to watch in draft in general. This is a guy who's getting a lot of noise in the circles. A lot of people think he's the second running back in the draft, and after him, there's a big drop off. So that's a name to watch.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm very intrigued by that, and that's something to look at. So guys, if you haven't watched any of his stuff yet, do so, and because that's a name that's gaining a lot of steam. All right. So here we are at the 59th pick. So far, we've drafted Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, Max Allen-Anchor, offensive lineman, Warren, of course, the safety, and then we got Chris Bell, wide receiver, 6'4", 200, out of Louisville. With 59, 87, 90, 111, 150, and I believe 250. So right here, let's go ahead and take a look. I mean, if you go to corner, there's this guy. I don't know if he's going to go to. I highly doubt he'll be in the 96 range. I think Tarcio Davis. He's flying up boards.
He's going to be a first or second. I think he's going to be a second, but
yeah. So this is how I feel. Okay, Will Lee, Julian Neal, guys you got to consider. Brett, I know you're an Ohio State guy. Josh has talked about Davison Agbington. What are your thoughts on him? He's a good size too, 6'2".
He's got length. He's good. He's can be a little handsy, but he's got the length that you want from a corner. He can get pushed a little bit, but I think there's talent to coach. A little stiff hip than I would like, honestly. I actually would like Davis better.
Yeah, I'm a Davis guy. I like him a lot. I love his size, but I also love his film. As you saw there, I was talking about 2023. I mean, this is a guy that people consider a top 40, top 30 pick. I think he's in that range. I think he's in that top 50, top 75 range. And I think if he's there for Miami in this scenario at 59, I'm doing it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to put him in my group with Rasul Douglas if you bring him back. And there you go. And you got some big size. You got some size in that secondary now with Warren at 6'4" and now Tasario Davis at 6'4".
You definitely you're headed in a direction. Not everybody's going to pan out necessarily, but you're definitely headed building your secondary how you want it.
All right, I'm going to put in Tasario Davis. Give me a second, and let me get these guys rolling on the other end here as I manage 1,000 things. If I start to freeze up, you'll know why. Forgive me. We got another show rolling here, the World Baseball Classic show. I thought I fixed everything for them, but apparently they didn't get to do it, even though both guys can handle it. That's okay. I'm going to turn off my camera and my mic here on this one. Yeah, why did it go here? All right. And bear with me, guys. Managing another show here. I'm going to see.
I know a lot of people like Stooks, but I don't know.
Let me tell them to start the show. Give me 1 second.
Yep. I'm not too sure about Stooks' scouting report. I mean, like, scouting reports are great, but they can be very hit or miss. You don't know who's going to be the best or like exactly like you got to line it up with the film, basically. Like, and that's the biggest thing where It's hard to like watch film on every single guy and try to get them all in. And but I mean, Stuke's got some talent though.
Sorry, guys. All right, I'm back. So bunch of amateurs. So anyway, so I'm going to Sario Davis here. I'm good with it. I love it. Getting him at 59, I think is great value. How we feeling, Brett? We're good on that one?
Yeah, I'm good with that one.
Nice. Let's roll with that. Forgive me, guys, for a little bit of a delay there. We got Alex, Sammy of Fins TV, and Russ Morgan. They're going to be going live shortly for the On Deck Baseball podcast. They're going to be previewing the World Baseball Classic. So that's be pretty cool for them. So as we wait for the Miami Dolphins next pick in the 80s, so far, we've addressed where we've gone corner, a safety, offensive lineman, receiver, corner. And here it goes. We're going to play it out here. We got 2 of the next picks coming up. And for those who are just joining us, you're watching a kind of a special edition of the Finstock Draft Show. I've been out, offline, if you say. I was down in Florida for the Dolphins Cancer Challenge, so we've been off air. So I got back, and I was like, I'm gonna get online. I want the viewers. I want to talk to somebody. So I said, let's go. So I reached out to Brett. Said, hey man, what are you doing? You doing anything? He's like, yeah, I'm trying to live life. I'm like, no, get your butt over here. Forget them kids. So
F them kids.
Get them kids. So I said, come on, let's talk draft. He's like, I'm down. So we're here enjoying it. Of course, I'll be live again tomorrow with Finn Sammy on Finn's Talk Today. And of course, on Monday with another episode of On the Clock OTC. Saturday, of course, No Holds Barred Wrestling. All right. So let's go ahead and peek at what we have right now for the Miami Dolphins. Emmanuel McNeil Warren out of Toledo, the safety, who's flying up boards. You get him after you trade down. You get your offensive tackle, Max Eilinker, out of Arizona State. Plug and play after Austin Jackson. You need receivers. You got Chris Bell out of Louisville. Yes, there's the injury concern. He got hurt, but I don't think it's going to be a forever thing. I think this guy could be your number one guy. Love it. Got the size, got the speed, got the physicality. He plays big. Then you go big again with Sario Davis out of Washington. How can you go wrong? I actually really love the way this has gone so far. 87.
Mm-hmm.
Where are we leaning here in your mind, Brett?
Oh, easy one. Gabe Jackas. I don't know how to say his name, but I like him. I like him.
Hey.
Even Hot Dog agree.
Hot Dog. I don't see the comments, but yes. Okay, so Gabe Jackas. Listen.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know if Drew Allard is gone. I don't know, David.
Okay, so that's fair, right? Now we got 90 right there. We have 90. And I knew somebody was going to bring it up. Quarterback. You could be going this way, right?
You could.
Drew Allard in this, he's really low. And again, but you could get him at 250 or whatever. Listen,
I have a talk with these guys.
That's the PFSN board. This is not the reality board, or whatever. Nassmeyer's up there. Talon Green, Carson Beck.
Well, I mean, listen,
he had a solid
Drew Allard is there at this point. Oh God, I'm taking him.
So what I'm going to do here, I don't know if Gabe Jackas is going to stay on the board.
Oh, my bad. Hog Dog. My bad.
Horn Dog. What do you say? What'd you say? Huh?
We're going to call everything Hog Dog.
I'm just playing. Look, I'm down with this. I'd go edge rusher and then look at quarterback at the next pick.
Yeah.
That's where I would stand right here.
I like that pick there. Not somebody I would expect to be there. Dude he's a beast.
Yeah.
He's really strong.
You need edge rusher. You missed out on Lawrence. You missed off on Zion Young.
I'm not saying he's going to be a stud like pass rusher, but I really like his ceiling.
I'd say at this point in time, and really with any of these picks at any point, even the first round, everybody falls on, we need a lead guy. We need you need a contributor. You need a guy who's going to give you something on plays. You need a guy who's going to make statement plays. Going to make that play when the game's on the line. They're going to make that play when you need a down or need a sack. Gabe could be that guy. Zion Young earlier could have been that, or Michael Allen. You need one. That doesn't mean they're going to be some elites. Maybe God willing, right?
Yeah.
We're not hoping on that. We're hoping for guys who are contributors. This has a rotational type defensive end edge rusher. You rotate him in and out, and you look again. The numbers were there too. Let me pull this up. Hold on, I had it on there so everybody could see it. 11 sacks, 13 and a half tackles for loss last season. You kidding? Yeah. 6'4", 260. Like at this point, you do it.
He's Trey, just like a Trey Hendrickson, similar size. Like good enough length, but he can bully you around. Strong as that. That's yeah.
Yeah, I'm rolling with that. We'll go with Gabe Jokas right there. I love that. So let's see.
Which I think he goes higher than 87 anyway. But
well, again, you never know, right? We're just letting this play out here. So really, in this scenario here, we're still in round 3. We're at 90. We're at the 90th overall. We got 111. Okay. Yes, more than likely, Talon Green, Drew Allar are going to be sitting there at 111. Okay. But let's play this out. Okay. Max Clare at Ohio State still sitting there. Miami's going to need a tight end. Maybe they go free agency. Maybe they stick with what they've got. I get it. Michael Trigg, we've seen enough. We've seen a lot of him. Obviously, Josh Wingate covered him the other day. We like him. But I know in this scenario, everybody sees the rankings in this draft. I get it. Let's ignore it.
Yeah, okay? I'm about to say we can ignore or draft whoever we want, but
we've seen what. I know we're gonna talk about Drew Allar, okay, and I know that's where we're leaning here, Talon Green, raw talent, physical, 6'6", 227, fast, big arm, beautiful air ball. I mean, right where it needs to be. This is a guy that if you get him 3, 4, 5, whatever in the third, 4th round, you feel pretty good because, hey, I have a guy that we could develop, a guy who may come in and shock the world, or a guy that if we need to go get another guy next year, this is a guy that we could develop to be a backup guy, or maybe a guy you trade away later. So I'm really high on this kid if that is the way they go. We talked about Garrett Nussmeier. Josh Wingate thinks he's going round 1. Very high on Nussmeier out of LSU. He's still there. Beck, who obviously is a Hurricanes fan, I was happy the way he played last year. I don't think he's going to be a starting good quality quarterback. I think he'll be decent. I think if he gets some reps, I think he'll do good for you. And he really did really well for the scouting combine. I'm really happy for Carson Beck, but I wouldn't take Carson Beck. No. Robinson, I'm very intrigued with. Big arm, athletic, productive, 6'4", 216. No, I know a lot of people go Josh Allen. When I say Josh Allen, I'm talking about the build. I'm talking about the measurables. I'm not talking about the player. Nobody's going to be Josh Allen. But this guy has that prototypical size that you want and that profile that you want in a QB. This is a guy I think people need to keep their eye on. Steve Malloy brought him up earlier. Cole Payton, another guy, North Dakota State small school, but look at the size, 6'3", 232. Again, the school comes into play, but you see the talent when you're watching the film. You could see it. It's not a guy you want to get early on. It's a guy you probably want to get in the 5th round, whatever, 6th round. But I'm just throwing those out there. It's for guys that you're thinking about later. And then you got the elephant in the room,
Drew Allar, which I don't know why some of these grades are so low on him. The NFL is not low on him. My gut tells me they're not.
Well, again, remember at one point, dude, a couple seasons ago, a couple seasons back, this is a guy that many people thought probably top quarterback, top 10 quarterback. They go, oh, but he sucked last year. Did anybody watch Penn State? The whole damn team sucked. Yeah. Singleton was a guy that many people thought was going to be Saquon Barkley. And then he had it, and the next year after, he fell off the face of the earth. So I think there's enough talent and upside that if you don't look last year's film, you look at the year before, and you see the measurables, and you see the talent, he's there at this pick. You go do it and don't look back. Because even if he doesn't pan out, then you go get the guy next year. If he does, brother, you're golden.
Especially at this point, like he's already there. You know what I mean? Like you get him in the 4th round, 3rd round. It definitely doesn't hinder you for next year getting a quarterback.
Nope. So I'm good. Drew Lar.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Hey, that's right. Ohio State fan is big on Penn State quarterback Drew Lar.
It's always a fun little practice, guys. You know, it's just an experiment. Luke Ottmeyer is one who interviewed with Miami, Illinois quarterback. Keep an eye on him for those who are following this. Here's a guy here that Eli Roridon, Notre Dame tight end. He just came off the board, but that's a guy that Miami met with recently as well. All right. So, okay. We're going to look at some other positions, and let's run this out very quick. Okay. We are currently at 111.
Yep. We
got 3 more picks left. Okay. So far, for those who are just joining us, if you're watching live or watching after, we appreciate you no matter what and how you feel. If you, whatever you're seeing this as it's going, let us know. Hey man, you should have went this route, or I love this pick, or man, I would have went this QB. Let us know. We love reading your comments. We love interacting. We appreciate you guys taking the time to watch this. So thank you. So anyway, with pick 11, we ended up trading down, and we got 2 additional. We got 1 additional pick, but we actually moved up from like 75 to 38. So anyway, so
we traded 11 and 75 for 28, 38, and 59.
Thank you, sir. So that was our trade that was done. That was the result of that. Who we acquired with the 28th pick, we went safety, Emmanuel McNeil Warren, Toledo, 6'4", 201. We went offensive lineman with 38. We got Max Alanker, offensive tackle out of Arizona State. Now we went and hit receiver. Chris Bell, another big guy, 6'4", 200. Tesario Davis, corner out of Washington. Size is the common theme here, but also production and play. You could be big, but you can't. There's guys who look big or are big, and they play like freaking marshmallows. These aren't those guys. These are physical, hard-nosed guys that you want as a Miami Dolphins fan, guys that maybe Sully is wanting to put into Miami with Halfley. Physical dudes. That's what we got here so far. Gabe Jacas. We missed on Zion Young. We missed on Malachi Lawrence after we got Tesario Davis. We made up, or we got it with Chris Bell. We made up with Gabe Jacas. That's a huge pick, 6'4". Then quarterback. We've been waiting. Everybody says, wait till next year. Yeah, we could wait until round 1 next year to go get a higher end guy. But Miami's going to come away. I feel very strongly to say Miami's going to come away with a quarterback in this draft. It just depends on whom. If Drew Lar, who I'm high on, who I believe is a second round, first round guy, talent wise, upside wise, he's there, 3rd, 4th round. Go get him. We got him here.
Yeah.
So now, you could think of linebacker. You want to double down on safety. You want to double down on corner. You got Bud Clark sitting there out of TCU. That's a guy that you could that's a good a decent player to consider. But I see a name there that I brought up earlier before the draft. Running back, Penn State.
You just mentioned
Katron Allen. Remember? This is a guy who, again, he is a productive runner, really good size, 5'11", 216. You can see here it was viewed as the Robin to Nicholas Singleton. Singleton kind of took a step back. Allen took the step forward. Allen, 1,300 yards, 15 touchdowns, 6.5 yards per carry. But also, so it's a productive runner. You could give him the ball and let him make a play. But you got to think about Devon Achane. I know Ollie Gordon. And you can get this guy. Doesn't mean Ollie Gordon's out the door. Doesn't mean Jalen Wright's out the door. Doesn't mean anything. But I'm telling you, what happens with Alec Ingold? We don't know. You put Katron Allen. You run that 2 back. Allen stays there the majority of the time or goes in and out. This is a guy that not only can run the ball for you or give you some decent yardage. So he's a very good pass protector. He's a really good lead block run protector. This is a guy that I think at this point in time would be a solid pickup for the Miami Dolphins.
He's a big back. He's a bruiser. I
Yeah.
like how Lance Zierlein compared to the Tyler Algier because that kind of makes sense.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
for me, like, again, I see Bud Clark sitting there, and I know if you trade Minka, you're going to need another safety. I know corner should be in consideration too. Offensive line, you could go that back. Linebacker, I get it.
It just depends on who's available, though. Because I'm
That's
not
true.
going to position just to go to position. I don't like doing that because
I'm with you.
basically
I'm
we're
with you.
saying I need a corner, so round 4 I'm going to draft the corner and now I'm saying my 4th round corner has to start. So just think of it that way too. Like, do you expect any of these guys or all of these guys to come in to start right away? Not necessarily. So that's the hard part about addressing need.
Yes, 100%. So for me, I'm just running here so people can look as we go. You know,
offensively here.
Let's go. Let's see.
I don't know. Keon Black too, running back.
Out of Indiana, still there. Yep.
Yeah.
And Singleton, of course, he's still there. You know, this is another guy who, like Drew Allar, was way up there. I mean, this is a guy that people are like, oh, this is the next. He's going to take the reins of Saquon Barkley and be the next really good back. And he kind of took a big step. So this is a guy that of course, if you passed on Katron Allen, you could go Singleton with the next pick. Wide receiver, Malachi Fields, still sitting there. Bryce Lance, Trey Lance's brother. This is a guy that screams Green Bay. This is a guy that screams that type of receiver. This is their type of guy. I could see this happening in a later round pick, and I could see Miami doubling down on wide receiver. Tight end, Sam Rush. This is somebody who's moving up boards. This is a guy I would be shocked if he's in the 174 range. I could see him going a lot higher. I could see him going around 4, maybe slipping around 5. So this is a guy I'm going to watch maybe with that next pick. But what are your thoughts, man, with this pick here?
I think this pick, you're going to have to go with somebody that you can bring in and has potential that you're looking for to develop. So this is where you can start looking at guys that have the talent or have the traits that you can develop. This is where you could go a center if you want to. This is where you could go. I swear to God, we're going to D-tackle. I'll be so pissed. But this is where you could go with the Alden Fisher there, at linebacker too. This was a little bit tougher, but I'm not really sold on Allen here.
Okay. Hey, that's good. I'm down with that.
So I'm not fully sold on Allen here, just because I'm not sure that I'm not really sure that he's going to make a difference at running back. I think he's a tough runner, physical runner, but does he have the burst that we need? Or is he? I mean, he might fit what they like, because they've had some bigger backs like that just kind of like play a role. But I don't know that he's going to take over much of a role from H. I think Singleton might, but if you're looking at,
I'm absolutely okay with it. Go ahead.
Was a linebacker? The kid from Indiana, I do like a lot. I like his instincts.
Aiden Fisher. Okay.
Yes. Yep.
So
the national championship game, I liked. So I watched a little bit more of him than that, but the national championship game, he was kind of setting a tone that I really liked. He just felt like he was out there to make plays, and like he kept finding the football. And I feel like he would be a steal in the 4th round.
All right.
I do like him there, and I feel like he can come in and be a good linebacker for us.
And I'm just throwing this out here too. You I know somebody brought up Max. I'm forgetting to butcher his last name. Max Loren out of Iowa. He's still there. Productive edge rusher out of Iowa. Joshua Joseph is still on the board as well. Edge rusher. You could double down at edge rusher and go that route as well.
See, I like that idea too. If you want to double down at edge rusher, that's a good idea to do too. I feel like they would double down a wide receiver as well.
Yeah, I know, and that's why I was looking at wide receiver, and I get it. And that's the thing. I'm talking about Allen, but I'm cool with it, But yeah, Malachi Fields is there. Bryce Lance is there. Malachi Fields is a guy that actually very intriguing, intriguing.
He's got size. definitely has size. Athleticism's good, not great, but I feel like he has like that size to win no matter what. Like you throw
You
him the
need it.
football.
You know, you're not like going to draft
Yeah.
Chris Bell and Jalen Waddle and go, we're good. I mean, Malik Washington's still there, and I think Malik Washington would be very good.
Yes.
But, you know, if Malachi Fields is there, you could get him. Do you hope that he's there at 150?
I mean, yeah, if he's here, it feels like a really good value too.
But I'll let you go. I'll let you make this thing. We go edge rush. We could double down on edge rusher. We could double down at receiver with Fields, or we could go the linebacker out of Indiana.
Honestly, if I would double down wide receiver and get myself a chance at another receiver.
There you go. Malachi Fields. Let's
Yeah.
do it, man. Hell yeah.
I feel like that's a good value there.
Don't
too.
sleep on Bryce Lance. I'm telling you guys. That's a guy that, in regards of Miami, Sully, Green Bay type guy, that's the guy. So we're waiting on 150 now.
Actually, I feel like Malachi Fields should be probably higher.
He will. I think he will.
Yeah.
But this is the thing, right? This is their simulator. Draft could fall either way, you know.
We could do this again in a week and it'll probably be a different result.
Yeah.
Guys, game's changing. So
and I want to appreciate everybody who's watching, who's joining us right now. You're watching the Fids Talk Draft Show here on FTSN, sponsored by Caneswear, 2655 South University Drive in Davie, Florida. Anything you got Dolphins, Canes, Miami Heat, Marlins, you got it all there at Caneswear. Go check out Brett and the crew. Got a late draft offer there. Say what? Not Brett Legassi.
Not this Brett.
All right, so let's go back. And you know, where you see, you know, Lance was still there, is still there, which is great. Burks as well. Taylon Green, you know, of course, I think he's going to go a little higher than that, but that's maybe in this round, maybe, you know, if the media is the one raising him up. Let's look at linebacker. Let's see safety, corner. I'm cool with that. Max is still there. You could double down at edge rusher right there.
Mm-hmm.
Crawford is there as well.
Another good size edge rusher. No, Max, man.
Look at that dude. Look at that guy.
I don't know, man. That's like jumping out to me. I like that one.
I'm with you. That comes out, man. Late round pick. I'm down with that.
Yeah, double down on edge rusher and receiver.
Let me see here. Hold on. Dad Dean, take the trade down. I saw it. You know, I'm not gonna lie to you. 18 picks down, plus you get 177. I would. Because of the hour, I'm going to stay here. And I think Max at 150 is amazing value at this point in time to double down at edge rusher and go that route. So we're going to roll with that. But Dad Dean, I'm with you on that one, my man.
I don't know that I would take the trade down necessarily, but if someone good is there, but yeah, I like the idea of it though.
There goes Bryce Lance up to Pittsburgh. Let me see here. Dante Corleone. Vincent Corleone. Michael Corleone. I'm thinking of The Godfather.
I was going to say we're doing The Godfather now?
Yeah, you remember that? Corleone. Oh, crap. There's Sam Roosh. I mean, really, he'd be gone way before that, but I doubt he'll be there at 250. Right? That's a nice pick, don't we? Yeah. I don't think we got the sixth round pick.
I will say, in theory, though, what everybody watching with the trade down in the first, look how many picks we had and how close we were together. Look how many more options we had. It's not necessarily that you have to trade down and all that, get all that many more picks, but having that many options, you have a better chance at hitting on something. Hopefully. I mean, not everybody's going to hit, but at least like double down a wide receiver, double down an edge. If one of the edge rushes doesn't work out, hopefully one does. Remember when we had Brian Hartline and Patrick Turner? Patrick Turner taking the third. Brian Hartline had to finish school before, and then he was still way ahead of Patrick Turner. And he was a fourth round pick. So it was, I mean, now look what he's doing. You know, and it's just like that's a big part of it. So I don't mind. That's one thing about Parcells' philosophy that I like that Ron Wolf also implemented was double down to certain positions, especially premium positions.
So here we go. This is our final pick in this mock.
Let's make it a good one. Kicky guy.
Let's see here. Got Jamarian Miller sitting there. Got a local guy sitting there. Let's look at that. Let's look at corner. Did we double down on corner?
I don't think we did. I don't believe so. I haven't been writing them down, but I don't think we did.
No, we didn't. I said, do we? Should we?
I
don't know.
I think
Jackson.
here. Well, I mean, it could help, but I think here now you're looking for like just special teams.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm thinking too. A guy who could contribute on special teams. Jackson there is interesting to me. Let's see. Let me look here for a second here. Damon brings up Dominique Jackson as well. Okay. No, we did not get a linebacker. We were looking at that earlier. Heineke is still there out of Oklahoma.
He's got some decent size.
He does.
Elliott is one I've heard about.
Sean Elliott.
Yeah.
That one intrigues me.
Who's up? Tight end.
Yeah.
Texas A&M. A good length.
Yeah.
A little light in the ass. 245, but I mean, some guys play bigger than that, though.
Yeah.
Depending on how you use them too. But I don't even know how to say his last name.
Cake Merrick. See here.
But he's official size 6'5", 245. There you go.
Interesting.
Kind of looks like your typical tight end from Texas A&M, though.
I know. That's what I was saying.
He just kind of looks like that.
Let's see. Man, I don't know, dude.
I don't know. I feel like there's like a log jam right now.
Yeah. You know what? I could see it, dude. Again, it's a Jackson Haas. That looks like a Green Bay type of guy. I got to watch him. I haven't watched him. I'm just going to be honest.
Yeah.
So, as he says, I like what I'm seeing.
For butt kicker.
Caldwell's the one that, but we already went 2 receivers, but Colwell, my goodness, out of Cincinnati. But Borkiker out of Texas A&M is a guy that I think
I like it.
I'm cool with. I think I'm down with that. Man. So we'll roll with that. And there goes Ottmeyer to Cincinnati right before.
Hey, at least it wasn't that Hunter Long situation. He had the third round.
Yeah, that's right.
I think tight end's a position that we should draft. Doesn't have to be early at all.
No.
In fact, the only tight end I wanted to draft in the first round outside of Kyle Pitts, which I would have been wrong there. I don't care if I'm wrong about that, is last year. But other than that, like Ty Warren, that was one of the only ones that was taken the first. Other than that,
Pride Jr. is a guy to watch too. That guy, the corner in Missouri. Good kid.
I think a lot of these guys, some of this stuff could be changed in a couple weeks to do this again. Completely different.
100%. So there you guys have it right there, and again, I appreciate everybody who's been commenting and, getting their 2 cents. I mean, again, this is just a simulation. It's just an experiment. But again, this is with the trade down. You got 28, 38, and 59. And, there you go. We got Emmanuel McNeil Warren out of Toledo. Max Allanker out of Arizona State, offensive tackle, wide receiver Chris Bell, corner Tassario Davis, edge rusher Gabe Jackas, quarterback Drew Allard out of Penn State, Malachi Fields out of Notre Dame, Max Lorin out of Iowa, edge rusher. So we double down at edge rusher. And we got our tight end, Nate Burkiker, French for butt kicker, possibly. I'm going to trust you on that. Damon. I think that was Damon. Oh, no, that was Dad Dean. So there you go. Let me make sure here. Let me get back to the comments from my end. Forgive me, guys. But yeah, you know what? I'm gonna be honest. Pretty freaking solid draft in my opinion.
Yeah,
At
really
least
good
just look
value
at
day
it.
two.
Yeah, dude. Like, damn. You know, if you think about it, you know, you miss out on Zion Young and Malachi Lawrence, and come away with Gabe Jackas, you know, who's a rotational edge rusher who's had solid numbers. That's
I think
awesome.
he'll be a plus starter too.
That's what I'm saying. Cesario Davis, you know, Lewin out of Iowa, Malachi Fields at 111. You double down at receiver. You had two big freaking bodies at wide out, guys with high end ceilings. You know, if this was the final, I would be like, okay, damn,
Yeah,
solid. Again, you always got to wait until after it's over. You know, you got to wait a season or two to say, oh, this was good. But on paper, not bad. Let me see here. I just want to see this out. If we were saying 1, 2, 3, I'd say 4. If I'm going to say, like, we're going to say starters, contributors, whatever. 4 starters, at least 2 contributors, and then the 3 guys. And these are the guys: Warren, Al Anchor, Bell, Cesario Davis. I see as the guys who could start day one. These are guys who are going to be in your starting rotation.
Mm-hmm.
Jackas, I know you said starter. I could see that him being like, he could be a starter, but a rotational guy who's contributing day one.
Contributor. Right.
Allard, you got him competing with
you're not in a rush to start him.
No, you're not.
Yours
you have him compete with Ewers. If he starts, great. If he doesn't, he's your backup, or with a veteran and whatever, you're good. Malachi Fields, it's a contributor. I think he is a part of the offensive rotation. He's going to be there with Bell, Waddle, Malik Washington, and then Lewin and Burkhiker. Those are guys that obviously Max probably probably gets to sneak a couple plays in there, more like his special teams. Burkhiker, he's in the flow, and you see if he could if he makes it through preseason, etc. But I see 4 starters and 2, and then of course the 2 contributors after that. So
I think Fields will probably be, honestly, I think he might be a contributor right away because he went really late in that draft.
Who?
I think he would go Fields, Malachi Fields.
Oh yeah. I agree.
I think he'd be a stud, but ignore like location because he can't really help how they grade it. Those are the guys I'd be excited about, is the 2 wide receivers. Honestly, the biggest thing I was excited about there is the trade down and the value in return, and then getting that many more chances at younger guys to fill your roster out. That was the exciting part. But we saw that the draft started kind of thinning out there. So is this a draft that trade down and still find value, or do you just say, screw it, this is 2013, this is not trade up like they did, but grab a guy while you're there, get a playmaker because this draft isn't pretty, which the draft feels somewhat thin. So maybe that's the route they do take.
Yeah. And Dad Dean says the only change would be with Zion Young instead of Chris Bell, A- grade. Again, I like Zion Young a lot. Again, you could have probably gone Brazil the next pick, or you can come away with Malachi Fields. So I understand that, that knock. I get it because again, I like Zion Young. So there you go.
Yeah.
And Anthony, that's not Coach. That's Brett. Just throwing that out there. I think that's what you're saying. I thought you were talking to somebody comments. That's not Coach. That's Brett Legassi. Coach is with me on Monday. Coach has the Abraham Lincoln Civil War beard,
which I always come across him on TikTok all the time.
Yeah, he's awesome, dude. He's one of the sweetest dudes out there, man.
I'm like, man, oh hey, I know him. Like one of the first videos on TikTok I see, it's like, oh shit, it's Coach.
Damon, I use multiple. I just check different ones. I use this one for the shows because it's easier. It doesn't slow everything down. I assume when we do the epic mock with Draft Professor, I think we're using his mock draft. So, which will be interesting to see. But Brett, what are your thoughts on Julian Neal, Charles Demings, or the other 2 corners out of Washington, if you do at all, sir? I know you're in the middle of watching stuff. You haven't got to everything.
Yeah, I'm behind on everything this year because I've been busy. But I do like Davis from Washington. I do. See, I think Washington has some really well coached corners, and
yes,
which is funny because like the different coaching staff in place there now. But it feels like they always seem to have spurts of good secondary players. But I like the length of those guys too. I like how they're coached. They're not handsy. I like their length. I like their physicality, and I think they both have potential in the NFL. We'll see what happens. As far as Neil and the other guy, I haven't got to watch enough yet.
Dad Dean, yeah, man, take a look at Chris Bell, watch some film of him, and let me know what you think of him, bro. I'm gonna watch more as well, but I absolutely, I really do like him a lot. I think second round, third round. I mean, third round would be a steal. Second round, I could absolutely see it going. Hot Dog says I like Jaka's better than Zion. Gabe was doubled all the time. There you go. There you go. Hot Dog, Hog Dog. Sorry. I'm sorry.
I said a hot dog. I was like, oh man, all right, my bad. Well, I'm like squinting, looking at the board up because it was like really small for me, and I'm like,
well, I read it fast, so
eyes aren't adjusted.
That's on me. You know, I'm sorry.
My
I
bad,
just noticed it too. He's probably like, God dang it, guys!
It's not hot dog, dude.
Uppercase, hog dog.
He yelled at us. He corrected it. It's all good, man.
Yeah.
It's all good.
All fun in the game. Hey guys, thank you all for joining us, man. We appreciate you. Missed y'all. Really enjoyed doing this. Again, I had fun. I didn't get much sleep on the trip because you got the kids and everything going on. Who joined us. My son did the 5K with me, completed. I'm proud of him.
That is awesome. That's a lot for a kid.
It is, dude, but he was great, man. He was a trooper. Here's the medal from the 5K.
That's awesome.
The little spinny thing there, which is really cool. Proud of it.
Like
Proud my son got one. Man, raised over $100 million
Wow.
For cancer research to DCC. All of it going to cancer research. So shout out to those guys, man. Shout out to the Dolphin players who attended and contributed, to everyone on every team. I mean, they had almost 8,500 participants who attended that event, and either contributed by just showing up, and others who actually participated in the 5K, the bike ride, the 99 bike ride, the 54-mile bike ride. So, if you guys ever do that, if you guys ever feel like you want to try that, do it. It's so freaking worth it. Not in the experience of doing the event as well, but also attending it and contributing is so huge, man. They're doing awesome work. So proud of my son. I'll probably have something put together tomorrow. So if you guys are available, join me for Finn's Talk today with Finn Sammy. We'll talk about the quarterback situation, Miami, looking at a couple veterans. Should Kyler Murray be looked at? I know, Brett, stop. Don't spoil anything. We're going to talk about it all tomorrow on Finn's Talk today with Finn Sammy and myself. Ignore Brett's face for right now. But listen to him in the comments tomorrow here on FTSN. I'm Bobby Finn's Talk. That's Brett Lagasse. Appreciate you all watching. Like, subscribe, and most importantly, Dolphin fans. Fins up.
Fins up.
See you on the other side.